Okay, so let's get started for today. Okay, for today, we will cover two major topics. Eventually, today is the second to the last one. Okay, so hopefully you got a basic idea what taxation is. And today we will cover partnership, ALC, is the first part, and then we're gonna finish the individual. Okay, then we'll close out for the income tax. And for the very last one, scheduled on May 5th, we will cover totally different topic. It's totally different topic other than the one we just covered. That is gift tax and estate tax. Okay, remember, okay, right now, so far, we've been covered all related to income tax. And of course, almost for each country, income tax is always the big one, the major one. For every country as revenue, always the major one. For the very last course, we scheduled in 2 weeks. That is a totally different. So I will just want to give you one announcement that do not miss out. Okay, do not mix out income tax to gift tax. It's totally different. Eventually, gift tax is on the top of income tax, if you can imagine that. Gift tax and estate tax, eventually those money, they are all after tax. After the people pay the income tax already, but by the time if the people give something to somebody else, and at this moment the money transfer will be taxed again. In the United States, the gift tax is taxed on the donor, the giver. Another very similar situation is by the time that these people die, upon death, again, it will be another tax. There's a state tax. So anyway, we're gonna leave it alone, okay? So for today, we will cover the ALC partnership for the first part. Then we will finish. We will wrap up the individual. But before that, let's talk about the article because I would like to discuss the article first. Keep everybody on current. As we discussed from last week, and the buffet rule was killed. If you read the newspaper, buffet rule was rejected by the Senate. Okay, it was turned up. As we discussed last week, it's finished. No more buffet rule. This is done deal. Okay, so how will the federal government try to keep the balance? Well, they cannot rely on the buffet rule anyway, right? Because we discussed from last week, even the buffet rule passed, i.e., for the multimillionaire, for the people they have $1 million or more, they'll be charged the flat rate 30%. Even that pass can only bring in less than 1% of the federal annual spending. So, I think buffet rule is not really a big deal. But before that, let's guess how much money our President Obama earned, or we say how much money our President Obama reported on his tax return. Give a guess. How much money President Obama reported? How much money he earned as a whole family, by the way, for year 2011. Oh, by the way, for those people, their tax return must disclose. For you and me, all tax return, they are all confidential. Without your approval, the IRS cannot give to anybody. However, for those political figure, they have to disclose. You want to guess how much money Obama, as a whole family, whole year, they earn 700 something. 700,000, by the way, and they only pay 20% tax. The highest one is 35%, okay? And let me tell you what, okay, if you are double income and as engineer and live in Silicon Valley, Bay Area, I think you have a very good chance you pay 35%. You are the highest tax bracket in Silicon Valley. And